Well, there's two lessons that MAGA is learning the hard way, and that is they're not going to be able to cross Elon Musk, and Donald Trump is never going to come to the rescue and take up for them. And I'm going to be here to remind them of that every day, that Donald Trump no longer needs them, so you won't see him out there defending them when Elon Musk goes off on a late night tirade on Twitter and goes after people who supports Trump. It's been so interesting to me just watching MAGA implode just since the election. I've never really seen anything like this. I've never seen a side win and then completely come unglued at the seams and slowly start to realize, hey, you know what? We're not going to get what we voted for. We're not going to get all the things that we wanted. If there's any silver lining to this huge dark cloud that hangs over all of us right now, it's that, yeah, we're not going to get what we voted for, but MAGA's not either. And some of them are slowly starting to wake up and realize that. And here's what's funny. As they wake up and realize it, and as they speak out against it, and as they run to Twitter, which is their bullhorn, hey, let's all go over here on this app and just spew all of our beliefs out into the world. When they do, if it doesn't align with Elon Musk, he just comes right out and calls them names. He just comes right out and makes fun of them. He just comes right out and suddenly silences them. Suddenly their accounts doesn't have the same features anymore. Suddenly they're suspended for a couple of days. And honestly, it couldn't happen to a nicer group. I want to show you this tweet because the other night, and I still call it Twitter. I think X is one of the dumbest names ever. I mean, you would think if he was going to change the name, he could have been a little bit more creative, but then again, it's Elon. But I want you guys to take a look at this tweet that a user left. Elon Musk is rapidly becoming the largest spreader of disinformation in human history, hijacking political debates in the process. The EU must take action. Now look what Elon's response to that was. F you, and calls him the R word. So that guy's actually kind of late to the party. Elon has been, for a long time, has been spreading disinformation, but he was perfectly okay with doing it and perfectly okay with giving hate speech a platform as long as they weren't speaking out against him. But the minute they start to speak out against him, he goes off on these tirades and calls them the R word. And where does Donald Trump fit into this? He's nowhere to be seen. He's off playing golf. The guy that was supposed to fix all the problems on day one has been golfing this entire time, and Elon has been having an absolute field day with MAGA. And we're seeing MAGA implode and start to turn and go, wait a minute, this isn't who we are. This isn't what we voted for. I'm like, yes, this is exactly what you voted for. Because we were sitting here this entire time trying to point out exactly what kind of person Elon Musk really was. And they was perfectly okay with him buying Donald Trump, because so many times when I tried to make my points, I can't count the times that I would say, guys, this man just said that he wants to be a dictator on day one. I had people who I used to respect say to me, well, I'm cool with it, man. If he does what we want to do, I'm cool with it. Yeah, but he just said he wants to terminate the Constitution. Well, I'm okay with that, man. Stuff's got to get done. Well, hey, wait a minute. This guy over here is going to buy your candidate, and he's going to control him like a puppet on a string. Well, I don't really care if Elon buys it, just as long as he pushes our agenda. And then Elon buys it. Elon pulls the strings. And when you step out of line, you suddenly get silenced. You suddenly get shut down. And I want to point this out. They spent all these years talking about cancel culture. They spent all these years talking about woke and saying that we were the ones that was out to silence people. And now they're being silenced on a platform where they thought they had free reins. I made this argument so many times, and it's so funny watching all this come true. I made the argument so many times that Elon is not for free speech. He is for empowering people who agrees with him and him only. If you go back to the interview, I covered it here on the channel. I did several videos on it, and I actually went on Don Lemon's podcast and talked to him several times. Don Lemon was supposed to have a show on X because Elon said it was going to be a digital town square. That was where he was going to have everyone come and express ideas from, and he said, I want to have Don Lemon on here to express his view from another angle of thought. That show didn't even get off the ground because Don pissed him off so bad by asking him questions about why are you allowing this disinformation and this hate speech to be on your platform. And Elon said, well, it's because it's not illegal. He got really upset and he said, it's not illegal to spread hate speech. That's not illegal. He said, if you want me to take it off of Twitter, then make it illegal. And Don said, yeah, but you're giving these people a microphone. You're empowering this. Do you really want to be associated with this kind? But is it illegal? He just kept circling back to that. So what I would say to all of the MAGA influencers that suddenly got demonetized and suddenly got silenced was what you was saying illegal? No, it wasn't. It's just that you rocked the boat and you went against what Elon said, and now He's coming after you. So all this talk about cancel culture and all this talk about the left wanting to silence people, no, it's Elon Musk who will silence you if you step out of line with him. And I always like to remind people of this, and it really upsets a lot of people when I say it, but the right wing are the ones who invented cancel culture. It's always been what they're about. They always try to cancel anyone that disagrees with them or silence anyone that disagrees with them. And they get that all confused with people simply holding someone accountable for their speech. You see, you do have a right to say anything you want to say. You're free to say it. But that doesn't mean that others have to agree with you. That doesn't mean that others have to allow that on their platform. I'll give you the best example I could give you. Do you think you could go to your church, walk up to your minister and ask him for the microphone and tell him to sit down? Do you really think he would give it to you? Do you really think that he would let me, if I came to your church, do you think your minister would let me, an agnostic, get up and tell everybody why that I doubt God's existence? Do you think they would honestly give me the microphone? No. They would say, this isn't your platform. This isn't the place to do that. So people really gets accountability for your speech confused with free speech. There have been people who have made comments and other people didn't want to be associated with it. One example I think of right off the bat is Hank Williams Jr. He compared Obama to Hitler. Had every right to say it, had free speech to say that. But the NFL had a right to say, you know what, we don't want to be associated with you anymore if that's the type of speech you're going to be given. So they had every right to distance themselves from that if they didn't want to be involved with him anymore. And I am a contributor on the Mest Touch network. I'm part of the Mest Touch network. If there comes a day where I was to go completely off the rails and start saying things that Ben Meiselas completely 100% disagrees with, he has every right to say, I don't want to be associated with Tennessee Brando anymore. I understand that, but the right doesn't, and Elon Musk doesn't, and that's why I find it such an insult when he says that he's some sort of champion for free speech. He's not for free speech. He was all for giving these people the microphone and turning it up full blast. He was all for spreading the misinformation. He was all for spreading the conspiracy theories and all for spreading the hate. And every step of the way was saying, well, but is it illegal? Is it illegal? And I'm going, well, was Don Lemon asking you a question that made you uncomfortable? Was that illegal? It's crazy the way that they have bastardized this argument to the point that now it's come back to bite them in the ass. And Donald Trump is out on the golf course playing golf while they get called the R word, while they get made fun of, while they get silenced. And honestly, when they say this isn't what we voted for, remind them, yes, this is exactly what you voted for. We were over here trying to point out the obvious to you, and we were doing so because we really cared about our country, because we are the ones that truly value free speech. We are the ones that truly value the Constitution. We are the ones that value the rule of law. All of those things was just simply catchphrases for the radical right. We meant it when we said it. That's the difference. And so to everyone out there now who's getting silenced by Elon, if you're saying this is not what we voted for, yeah, actually, it's exactly what you voted for. We tried to tell you the guy would burn you and didn't want to listen because you thought we were woke. Well, you better wake up to who's playing you. You got played every step of the way. We're not the enemy from within. We're not the ones that was trying to silence you. We're not the ones that was trying to shut you down. You guys are the ones that went to the Capitol and tried to beat police officers over the head and got upset because you got arrested and then turned around and called yourself a patriot and a hostage, which you know deep down is bullshit anyway. So we weren't out to silence you. We weren't out to lock you up. We weren't out to do any of those things. But guess who is? Elon Musk. Keep messing with him and you'll see how far you get. And I hope that when it happens, I hope you was watching one of my videos and go, well, Tennessee Brando tried to warn us about this. Yeah, I was trying to warn you. That's exactly what you voted for. But I really appreciate you guys for being here on the channel with me and supporting what it is that I do. I hope everyone has a good new year. I know that this is not the results we wanted, and it's going to be a very challenging year. But we have to continue to be there, to put in the work, do the heavy lifting, and try to restore some sense of decency back to this country. I had much more faith. I hate to say it, but I really had more faith in the American people. I really thought that we would be able to get Kamala over the finish line. I didn't realize just how much cruelty and just how much hatred and just how much disinformation had polluted everything. So what we got to do is we got to roll up our sleeves and work even harder to push forward in this crazy world. I believe we can get there. I believe we can come out the other side of this darkness, and we can make this country a better place. It's going to take work, but don't ever give up.